Okay, so,
Okay, we're good.
okay, so, Madam Mayor, we have an agenda item that was requested to be added, which is a road concern brought by Councilor Spicer.
So I had a resident contact me over the weekend, and they had concerns about maintenance operations that took place on Ludwig Road. From what, it sounds like what they did is they went along the edge and clipped off probably part of the lip.
Yeah, the ridge.
It's on side, but they spoiled it into the ditch, and the resident was a little concerned that that may affect drainage in the future. So I just wanted to make sure that, I told the resident I would bring it up, and I wanted to make sure the council was aware, and I have sent it to our CAO, so he's going to talk to Public Works and see if there's an issue there or not, and I guess we'll get a report back at some point.
Comment?
Go ahead.
On Scott's, Councillor Spicer's note there, I do recall probably last year that we asked Public Works to go do a lot of the roads where we wanted it crowned better, and in order to achieve that, you have to take off that lip that you're talking on that edge. It does knock off a good, I'm gonna say, 2 or more inches, 3 inches of sod,
Yeah.
old gravel.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that on a number of roads, because I drive a lot of these grid roads, and I noticed they've been doing it. So this is probably exactly the same. And when you do look in the ditch, you do see that stripped off haircut of that sod, and there's no other way to deal with it other than do it and leave it. You can't go pick it up. You'd be there for a year, another year doing that. So, but I do remember we asking Public Works to do some of that trimming, but yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and the part of that challenge, Councillor, is that there's a balancing act where they would look at sometimes bringing it in, or if they're having to cut how much, because the moment they bring it in, then the people are complaining that there's
Yeah.
mud and things on the road.
Yeah.
It's better to put it in the ditch or in the slopes. Eventually, with the rain and everything else, and if the rain doesn't get it when the mowers cut the grass, well, that chews it up. Rain, I'm serious, because the more you can put on the slopes, as opposed to putting more mud onto the road. So yeah, nothing works perfect when you're going to work with the road, you know, to get a better grade and cut those slopes. Sometimes you've got to put that mud into the slope. It doesn't last there forever. I'm glad we're finally doing that, getting, you know, Public Works to spend more time on it. So important, your grade and your drainage is just, you know, on the road. You get a rain, if it's slop property, it goes off the road. You can't stress that more, it's just so important.
Okay, I think Sandra had her hand up also.
I was gonna say, just on your comment, I guess they aren't graded properly because they're all sitting and it does look terrible. But I did also have, and I do have pictures from a resident on Hay Road also. So it's down in the south there, but, and it does, and it's just sitting there along the, and that was their concern too, once spring comes and everything, that, is it going to, but it is, the big hunks are sitting like, they haven't fallen in, like they're not, it's not sloped properly, so they're just sitting along the edge there. It does.
And they would sit on the edge until they dissolve,
Yeah,
both
they're,
winter and spring.
they're pretty big to dissolve, but.
Once the snowplow comes and drops his blade, sometimes that actually knocks a lot
Yeah,
off. Yeah.
You can't have the best of both worlds when you're, and then when we had this rain here, you know, as Two Mile Road, for example, people call me Debbie Head
Yeah.
because of the rain. Yeah, and the road, it was worked up, it's not backed that good. And then turns to slop, and which it did, so, but apparently, well, they were just waiting for the things to kind of dry up a bit, and then they would do them again. But overall, it's still, the best thing is to get the proper grade and to get those slopes so there's no gutters like right now, it might look like there's gutters a couple feet down the road because of those ridges, but, it's to get, the water will still drain off the road. Even if there was a gutter 2 feet down, the water is gonna go through that eventually. It's not gonna sit on the road.
We
And
trust
there's no other way for an operator to do it. It's just impossible. you
It's
know.
probably because they haven't been cut for such a long time too, that there's the bigger,
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
it builds up over time when they're grading over the summer, spring, snow clearing, you can start building up those ridges on the side.
Yeah, and, you know, Pioneer, Henderson Highway, McKay, with those projects, well, that was more time spent and everything done, you know. You can't do it all at once, and we saw the results, you know. And I'm sorry for whining about it for the longest time, but it's just something that was done, and I know it worked, you know. Sure, it costs a little bit more money for that project you're doing, but you're gonna get benefits down the road, you know, it'll last for, and I hope we do at least three roads every year like that. If Public Works will handle more, well, you know,
Well, that'll be for the budget for this upcoming years.
yeah, it's important. But, yeah, we did stress we wanted to start pulling the shoulders in, and they can't work miracles. They do that, but then you've got, the road isn't really compacted anymore for a while, you know. And if you don't have any rain, well, then things won't be so severe. But if you have a rain, then there's just no way getting around it. But I think we're doing the right thing by getting the operators to get the proper grades on those roads.
Okay, moving on. We had one other one here that was an addition, which was the bylaw enforcement through RRPD, and I think Councillor Strang either brought that one up.
yeah, I didn't know if it should have been in camera or out, but I'm glad you suggested for it to be out. Received a email from a resident, and I noticed the mayor and Councillor Spicer's name was also on there. And it's just bringing up issues from RRPD. Yes, it has to do with Boardwalk. I know that our board members have brought it up to Red River Planning several times. And I guess just some accountability, is there gonna be any head out of it, or is it something, I don't know. It's been going on for how many years? Like several years, our last term yet. And I know the residents they're to the point that they have no faith, I think, in us already, that even though our residents don't know what is the Red River Planning bylaw issue and what is the Arm of St. Clements issue, because both are involved, but yet it's under their planning, their enforcement. So I think maybe, I don't know. Is there going to be a headway to it? So something that we can answer the resident to say.
Well, that one has been dragging on for an awfully long time, and I'm not even sure where it's at. Perhaps we can ask, is Tyler involved in that one at all?
Yes, you
So maybe we can ask Tyler for some information or,
Next week, we can bring some further details on that. But I have to note that part of the challenge is Red River's doing it. They've been given some legal advice, and they've been unable to prove the fact. They've asked some residents for help for identifying it as a problem, but people have chosen no, they don't want to. And that's a significant cost to have a bylaw officer from Red River sitting outside waiting for an opportunity to catch someone.
Robin and Sandra.
That's what I was gonna mention. I know that was a conversation that was had, and, you know, to me, at the end of the day, as a former law enforcement officer, we always use the public to help us solve the case for them. If we have a public that don't wanna be involved and help a case, then that's all we could do as officers. We'd say, if you do wanna help out, we'll keep your anonymity there, but if you don't wanna help out, the case goes nowhere. So you can't keep complaining if you don't wanna be part of the solution. I remember that was part of the problem, was that when it was asked if some residents wanted to aid Red River Planning Enforcement in keeping the eyes open, so to speak, that if you see something, let us know, and they did not want to get involved. So I don't know, to me, that's where it ended, because then don't complain if you don't want to get involved. That's it.
Sandra, go ahead.
I know they did get involved, but they've changed the bylaw officer at Red River Planning how many times that's where everything got lost in. And then that one gentleman that was the bylaw officer came to us and said, yeah, that it was fine, I can't take pictures for you, because we wanted proof here at the table, and he wouldn't produce that. And the residents did help him. I don't know if it was with that bylaw officer or the one previous, and they're frustrated thinking they're starting all over again too. That's like, like why can't they keep the information there and keep building on it then, or have a file on them, or I don't know, because I think they shut the door after that one gentleman said that everything's good there, and he came and said there's no marks from furniture, da-da-da, like everything seemed so fishy to us after that he left, yet you're trusting that person sitting there with that position.
From what I remember, it was after that fellow left that residents were asked either by Tyler or by the new bylaw officer in Red River Planning to help with this situation. So it didn't come, it came after he left. I remember that presentation.
They did before too. Yeah.
All I know is that they were asked after that guy left that said no furniture was moved, and we kind of found out that whatever, that it was.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I completely agree with you, Sandra. But I think we're gonna lose this one in the end, because one is to stop them down to just applying for a granny suite.
Well,
Really what, and
Yeah, or put it back to a garage.
That's
Take
right.
all the wall, take all the inside, take the bathroom out, take all the walls out, make it a
it was
garage.
supposed to
Do
be
it.
a pool house,
Yep.
and there's no pool.
Yep.
but can't they apply for a granny suite, and what are we
They've
gonna do?
applied for a pool permit, they just haven't started the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had asked them about that, remember at our one, and he said, yes, he was in, and when I asked him what pool company, he didn't have a pool company name, so. Of course, these people they're the loopholes that,
Yeah.
he's found the loophole, and he wrecks it for everybody else, that's
That's
why all
right.
these
Yeah.
situations happen.
Go ahead, Rob.
I think I am all for making somebody do something that they didn't apply for originally, so by saying making him take and jump inside, I would love to see that, but at the end of the day, when he goes to the law, when he goes to a court and challenges it, we're gonna lose. Even though he had other means and other methods or needs to, when he originally applied, that he didn't follow what he said he was gonna do, that if he went and complained, I'm just guessing that it would be a challenge and it'd be a whole lot of money in court for us. We can ask Mr. Administrator if he agrees with that or not, but,
That I will discuss in camera.
yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We know what that concern is, and we can further the discussion when we move in camera again. So let us go to section 9 on our agendas, which is the financial statement and the accounts, so closed list of accounts.
Resolved, council approved the November 12, 2024 list of accounts, check numbers 24001517 to 24001607 in the amount of $42,358.66 for payment.
That's not correct.
Yeah,
That
it's more than
42.
42,000.
It should be 142.
No, it should be over $1 million.
Over $1 million.
We'll check and
$1
see.
million.
Yeah, it's 1,080,000 in the amount of $1,089,606.27.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strank, second. Counselor Spicer. Any further discussion?
I do like the 42,000.
Yeah.
Just the checks canceled.
No further discussion. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And then we have a grant, the Gaynor Family Library.
Yes, this is a letter for the installment of the, the fourth and final installment of the operating grant that we already authorized, and this is just letting council know it's for $27,904, and we're recommending approval.
Okay. The resolution there.
Resolved, council approve the payment of $27,904 to the Gaynor Family Regional Library as a fourth installment of the 2024 annual operating grant.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any further
I have a
discussion?
question.
Go ahead, Scott.
If we had passed this in our budget, is there any particular reason why it has to come back for a resolution?
Good question. I'll have to look into it. Since it's a grant, we've been bringing grants back to council, even though we approve it in the budget. As an example, the rec centers and other places where we have grants.
But don't we have an agreement that says that we've got to pay library levy?
We may have to take this out and not put it in the budget as a grant anymore. Maybe that's the change. So that's why I'm looking into it.
Okay, no, I just
On your note,
question.
on that note, would it not be just an actual formality that we're doing? As I didn't answer your question, why do we do it? Could it be just a formality?
It is a formality,
I mean, it's
but
a-
do we now just, as part of our new agreements with the library, we can probably just build it in as an operating grant once a year and that's it.
I mean, it's okay, like,
It's nice having it on
if
paper.
we pass the resolutions, then at least the public knows what we're doing.
There's a copy.
So that's fine too.
Yeah.
I just was wondering.
Okay, I believe I have a mover and a seconder. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the third one we have is the Grand Marais Rec Association.
And they are requesting $200 that they've requested every year for the, goes towards the Santa Claus Parade. And we're recommending approval for the 2024 Santa Claus Parade.
Thank you.
So resolve council approve the following 2024 Grand Marais Rec Center 2024 Santa Claus Parade, $200.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second, please. Councillor Strang, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on to the bylaws. We have one bylaw, which is for a road closing, which is for first reading today.
Correct. Madam Mayor. So the bylaw is closing of the road. This is the current road that we have here besides the RM, and it's the road that hasn't been officially named. So, but it also is registered with a curve in it when actually it was built as a straight road. And so since we've now sold the land, as part of that requirement was to close the road. So we're closing it now, and then we'll come back to reopen it as it actually has been built. And as part of the reopening, as it's actually been built, we'll also go forward. Do you want to come and speak? Yeah, come on in. And Sue will explain further. What we're looking to do is come back for a street opening. We're opening at next after we do the road closing.
And so the background in this bylaw was I created is to close a municipal road in the RM of St. Clement. The road was not built within the allowance, and by closing this road and reopening it, the correction will be occurred. After giving first reading of the bylaw, municipalities are advised to circulate the bylaw for review by the government agencies and utilities that may be impacted. A date has been set to which comments about the bylaw must be received by the municipality, which is November 22nd of 2024. And we are talking about this road over here. The municipality must give public notice of the road closing and circulate the information for the public hearing in the local paper twice, consecutive weekly papers notifying the public of the date, time, and place of the public hearing and general description of the matter to be considered. Due to the fact that when the road was previously registered, no name had been given, therefore council should also consider naming the new road. It would be on the plan of subdivision for Mr. Klippenstein. when he goes to do it. The plan for all of this is we are gonna have one big public hearing. You'll have a public hearing for the whole development, so my bylaw for closing the road would be on that. You'll have a zoning bylaw amendment that same night, because it's all pertaining to the same subject. You will also have a conditional use that night, because multifamilies are conditional. And you would also have the subdivision application. So therefore, the administration recommends that first reading be given to road closing bylaw number 9 of 2024, allowing the bylaw to be circulated and advertised for administration to schedule the advertising and public hearing date. Whereas section 290 of the Municipal Act outlines that a municipality must close a road by bylaw, and therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements undertakes first reading of bylaw number 9 of 2024.
Madam Mayor, the resolution has just been read, so I'll just read it a second time.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, so are we closing the whole road, or are we just closing that part that curves off?
We're closing the whole road. And then redoing it.
But all at the same time, so technically it won't be closed.
Correct.
It'll be closed and opened at the same time.
Correct.
And then we need to name
Not
it.
necessarily.
You don't want a closed road and people traveling on it.
I know.
Insurance. So it will be all registered at the same time. I guess that's the conversation. So the bylaw will go in with the subdivision application, so on and so forth. So it's got to be registered in
That makes
series.
sense.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Do we, just saying the road here at the side, do we have to name it previously to?
It has to be shown on Mr. Cliftonstein's subdivision map or SAM. That, I've already talked to him about it. He's open and fair to whatever he'd like for the road. So it would be submitted on his plan of subdivision as compared to just government road.
And we would do that through our road naming policy.
Go ahead, Rob.
And I'm just asking, because I heard a comment about that if the road was unregistered, that means people on it are at risk. Now, is this something we want to follow up on, that when this all goes forward, the paperwork, that there's no slip-ups? Because we don't want to happen, us sitting here going, we don't know how, the paperwork went through, but we don't know how they missed it or something. You know what I'm saying? Have a follow-up phone call to wherever this is going to say, hey, did you get the road closing? Did you get the road opening? Is it all good? Like,
So,
things
yeah.
happen.
So one of the things we used to do in the past is if the developer would get the development agreement and everything, but in the development agreement, it's always written that they pay for legal administration. So I would recommend, if you're concerned about that, we just take and turn all the paperwork over to our lawyer, and he will make sure it's registered in the correct series. So, and then we charge back Mr. Clifton.
Sandra first, and then Scott. Did you have another comment?
No, I was just gonna say, we know it so much as Arena Road, I don't know, is,
Yeah. I always.
and I'm just thinking what Rob.
Ring Road, Ring
Yeah,
Road.
Ring Road, and I'm just thinking what Rob said, because everyone's gonna be going to the arena if there is some
Plus
slip up
traffic.
there, and it, because it is a well-used road, so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
So we need to follow the road naming by policy.
Policy, correct.
You could name it in homage to the guy who built it.
We could call it Sutherland Way.
I have one recommendation. I was looking for names just because I forget what I was sitting and doing. Oh, we were in a trailer collecting taxes. And we obviously know Cyril Farms is a huge, huge establishment just right on the other side of 59 Highway. I'm not saying it's my full recommendation, but it did start the community of East Selkirk and maybe should be considered as a road name if you want to stay with your heritage background.
Is
So
there
I think as Deepak said, we have to look at that policy and see what it
Yeah.
says and go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Would the developer, he's,
It's not his road that he's building. All it is just a registration of an existing road.
And he said
So if
it's
the
okay.
developer was building his road, he could certainly bring forward a proposal to name a road, but at the end of the day, our policy states council has a choice. So you can't just bring in, as an example, if you chose a name like Deepak's Way, but Deepak was under, has negative connotation with the name. So council should always have the final say as to what the roads will be in the community, and they represent the community.
There are exceptions in the bylaw. If we remember Blackbird Road or Blackbird Developments in the south there, they came forward with their name as compared to the heritage name, and it was accepted by council.
We don't need heritage names. What we
I
need is names that are approved by council, that still follow the council policy.
Right.
A developer can suggest a name, the council has to adopt it.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
You just need first reading one?
Just first reading.
did I get a mover in a second?
I didn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, so we have a mover, have a seconder. I don't believe I called the question, so all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I think
No
so.
problem.
Okay, there are several communications for information. Obviously, the biggest one is to Manitoba government's announcement of the Capital Region municipalities' freedom to choose to be part of this Winnipeg Metro region. That has come forward. There's some additional information that was also circulated. We can share with council afterwards. Basically, what it's allowing is municipalities to be able to choose to be part of the WMR or not, and they've extended the date for the delivery of the WMR till 2026 for the Plan 2050.
And that's all through Bill 42.
Correct. Okay, so Madam Mayor, if there's any other ones that you'd like to bring attention to?
No, just to comment on 11-4-2, the Bob Jefferson Memorial Golf Tournament. I guess this year, those who participated, that was the last kick at the cat because they are no longer going to have that tournament. From what I read, it appeared that they were going to do it for so many years and raise so much money for the foundation, and it's been around for 25 years, and they've decided that they've raised the funds and they're not going to continue with that tournament. So I thought, I was kind of surprised when I read that last night, but you know what? I guess everything has to come to an end at some point in time. And I don't think that there's anything else. GMCC, there was something that came up yesterday when we were there, and we can discuss that in camera when we move there. So if there's nothing else that anybody wants to bring forward, I'm going to go to committee reports, and I'm going to start today with Councillor Spicer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On November the 5th, we had a committee of the whole meeting, and it was about just providing information to council. November the 6th, I attended lunch with the staff, and that was the appreciation lunch for staff for 24. November the 7th, Association of Rural Municipalities, and it was their monthly meeting. It was in St. Andrews, and we had Sergeant Human?
I don't know if he's a sergeant or not. Corporal, I thought.
Corporal.
Oh, human.
Human, spoke on, challenges with regard to fraud and phone scams and so on and so forth. Pretty good speaker. You could definitely hear it. His voice projects.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty eye-opening. And that's all I got to report, unless there's any questions.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Thank you. Well, Scott, was November 5th, as Scott said, we had a call meeting, we had our meeting with CU Silica. November 8th, attended Remembrance Day celebrations in Broken Head, Debbie and myself. The things were done a little bit differently this year. Nothing wrong with the way it was done, but just a little different. November 8th, the ARM meeting at St. Andrews, and again, as Councillor Spicer said, that Corporal or whatever, Paul Human, he spoke on fraud and scam prevention. I think his presentation, I was very impressed. He did a great job, I think, anyway. Along with a little bit of comedy in there at the same time. And November 11th, yesterday attended the Remembrance Day celebration at Grand Marais with Mayor Debbie, Dave Forbes, and myself. It was well attended, the room was filled up, so. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Strange.
October 30th had a meeting with Red River North Tourism, and it was an update on Holiday Alley. Holiday Alley does begin on November 14th to the 17th, so that's this week. So everybody, if you have a chance, try and attend. St. Clements did sponsor the sheet poetry again, and it was very popular last year, so hopefully people that didn't try it make an attempt at that this year. Sunday, November 3rd, I attended with our mayor the St. Nicholas Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Ghana, their 120th anniversary. The celebration was in Garson after their church service, and there was 100+ people attended, and we were joined, there was also our MP and MLA were in attendance with us. November 6th, also the staff appreciation lunch. And November 7th, I attended the Red River Basin Commission executive meeting, and they just it went over their work plan for the 2025 year. They did budgeting, staffing, a few of the things. Canada's Freshwater Commission is going to be located in Winnipeg now, and natural infrastructure planning is going to be one of the topics at our conference. So they were just speaking about different things that we take away from developers, and that which could be actually natural to keep there for drainage and everything. But that's going to be one of the topics at the conference. The other thing that they spoke about was lack of laborers and qualified people to work. So even in the US, they're having the same issues and problems as us in Canada. So, other than that, and this year is going to be La Nina winter, they're predicting, and that's going to be drier and more snow.
More snow?
More snow. That they were saying last year was wetter, that's where we received all the ice all the time, and warmer weather, so we keep on melting. But they're saying it's going to be drier, so we'll see if that comes true. Other than that, that's it.
That's it? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
November 6th, the staff appreciation lunch at the rec center was a good turnout. I think enjoyed it. November 7th, I went to a Selkirk Biz meeting. They have about 127 members now on the membership update. BizBucks, they're having a harder time having them be as popular as they were when they first came out. A lot of businesses backed off of them, so now they're trying to rejuvenate it, get it back going, because they have another 3-year commitment they just signed for the BizBucks, the ones, I guess, the organization who makes them or produces them, they buy them from them, and they have to commit to so long. So they're trying to do another surge of getting the BizBucks out there and showing people that you can shop locally with those. They talked about the business awards, how much of a success it was at the golf course that we attended that time, Debbie.
Yeah.
And that they're going to try to add an Aboriginal award in there somewhere, perhaps, and a suggestion. Well, I can't say no, but they want to add another award.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And the Remembrance Day celebration I attended yesterday at the Selkirk Arena. Parking lot was full. It's a big arena. There were empty seats, but the parking lot was full, and they were even on the highway, so it was a good turnout from the public.
Yeah, it usually is over there, and I think some people park on the highway just to get out a little quicker. Okay, I guess I go back here to the 22nd of October when we had our regular council meeting, and then on the 23rd of October, we had our RRPD special meeting, and I'm looking at Scott, why he wasn't there, but he wasn't there. It was Councillor Orvis attended with me that day. So, we had that meeting to discuss some, mostly moving forward with planning and some of the changes, and it was mostly in camera, so I will just leave it at that for now. October the 28th, I had a Manitoba Good Roads meeting in Portage. We met on a number of matters. We did have one delegation come forward, and they are interested in becoming part of the Good Roads and sponsoring an award. So we're going to work with them to make sure that they're included and, you know, see what they can do for us as far as perhaps some monetary donations and things like that. That's one thing that we've talked about at a couple of our meetings, is we have to try and generate a little more revenue for the Good Roads and perhaps some more sponsors. So if anybody knows of a company or a person who might be interested in sponsoring something, if you could just let me know, I'll pass it on to the powers that be and do that kind of work for the association. So our website is almost ready to go, finally, and we are looking for sponsors and more supporting members. Sandra reported on the church anniversary, and the next thing I have, because the other two were here, November the 7th, Councillor Sutherland spoke about the Broken Head Aboriginal Veterans Day service. The school children did participate again, and there were probably a half a dozen veterans present for that service. And there was representation from the Legion in Selkirk, and there was a gentleman there from the Southern Chiefs organization. I guess some of the people that are normally there, including Chief Blue Sky, were not present because that was the actual family, I'm going to say, funeral for Murray Sinclair, so he was there, and it was very, very nice, and of course they have their usual little luncheon after, which was good too, so. And yesterday I was with Dave and David at the Grand Marais Remembrance Day service, which was, you know, it was very nice. Robin Clark was the MC there. No, Gloria Juvenile from the school was the MC, so it was well attended too. That whole hallway was full, yeah, so there were lots of people there. And that's all I have. Deepak, oh, go ahead, Dave.
Back to that, the only thing, they should have done their homework on who was attending.
Yeah, I know, we can talk about that after.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, yeah, okay.
Deepak, go ahead.
Nothing to report. I will report on my monthly report next meeting on Tuesday.
Okay. Heather, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
No, I am good right now, thank
You are good right now?
Yes.
Okay. So then I guess it is time to go back in camera, and we'll move on a couple of things, and we'll bring up a couple of things that we want to talk about.
Resolve council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personal issues, and further be resolved that all matters discussed will remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of this black.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang, seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Bio break, man.
Yes.
Thank you.